Today, we're going to really focus on 4 areas. We're going to go over the power of the keyword planner because you guys are about to really use it here shortly. And I want you just to understand a couple things about it. And then we're going to really do a session on just what keywords are and where they're important and what you should avoid. And considering search intent, which you guys have heard me allude to over the past few weeks. And then finally, I just want to do an overview of your assignment. I am actually not going to do what I've done in the past where I've gone and done your assignment. I think it's pretty straightforward. If you guys read the article that is associated with the assignment, it walks you step by step. It's probably one of your easier assignments that you're going to be doing. Coming up, we're going to be doing a lot of analysis. One thing I just want to make you guys aware of is this week on Thursday at 1 o'clock, I'm going to do a lecture on data. And this really should be something at the front of all of the SEO we do. But I've set up the class where you still get the SEO experience without having to bug people to get you that data. I didn't want you to be slowed down by anyone. So it's not required. It's extra credit just like this. So I hope that you're able to make that. Let me ask you, and Cameron, you're not allowed to talk. Cameron's actually the reason why I wanted to put this in here. Tell me what you think you can do with Google Keyword Planner.
Doesn't it give you a lot of different data on different keywords and then give you like sub keywords for that and then other related keywords, so then you can go through and find the ones that are the best that you can pick, that have the most search volume and then have the lowest competition, so you can put it all together?
So kind of, your first part is correct. It gives you a lot of keywords that you can say, oh, I didn't think of it. It's a great tool in keyword generation. But if you look at Google Planner, as you're aware of it, it only shows you this is high, this is low, and it's high to low to what? Like high meaning millions or high meaning thousands of people search this? You're spot on it helps gives you keywords for sure. And we're going to discuss how to hack it to give you the exact search volume of a keyword. I'm not kidding you. Like when I found this hack, I didn't come up with this hack. And when I found it, I was giddy like a schoolgirl because you're getting the exact data from Google. No other tool can give you that data. And so that's the second part that you were talking about. If you don't know how to hack it, you can't see the exact search volume. What else can you do with it?
Kind of going along with the same thing, doesn't it help you choose like the right, like the best keywords so that you rank better?
Yeah, it definitely helps you say, okay, you know, these are the keywords that Google is associating to the phrase that I'm looking at, which is one thing that I want to point out to you guys here in a second when we talk about it. So yeah, absolutely. One thing that you guys did with the competitive health status, what did you use Google Keyword Planner when you were looking at your health status against competitors?
I'm guessing if you can have the keyword that is like your competitor's weak, but you're strong, then you can rank higher.
Okay, good guess. And this is the actual, what you actually use the tool. You were looking to say, look at your domain. Are these keywords relevant to the content that I'm searching for? And this is what led Cameron and I down a rabbit hole that helped us see a problem with his site that I wanted to share with you guys because this is really powerful. And Cameron actually taught me a new way to use the Google Keyword Planner. And that's what I love about teaching this class and just doing SEO. It's constantly evolving. I do not for a second say I'm the ultimate authority on it. So you guys hit first how Google views your content and how much traffic does a keyword have. As we were looking at Cameron's site, Cameron, what are the problems that we ran into with your site?
Basically, Google was misrepresenting and misunderstanding what information I was trying. It was saying I was extermination when I was pet. Basically, there was crossing of lines.
And he had no content on that. And so Cameron brought me a hypothesis. What was your hypothesis, Cameron?
So melting it down, it's either content or URL or both. And at first we went with content because we were working with Brother Wilson and we were looking through the articles, and there was articles with the name rodent, but there was no URLs with the name rodent. So we went, okay, maybe it's the URL that I'm using. So we need to change that up. So then we started using Google Keyword to see what was good, what was bad.
So what I like, guys, and I've never done this before until Cameron, is this third one, is understanding your domain. So URL could be like not just the domain, but also the pages associated with it. But Cameron, he had raisingrodents.com. And we felt the fact that he didn't have pet in his domain name, Google said, I think this is about, exterminating rats. But the moment we put in pet rodent, there was nothing in Google Keyword Planner that said extermination. And so when you guys are looking for your domain, when you're saying, okay, I need a domain for my website, this is such a great tool to start with. Saying, okay, I'm gonna name my domain this. What does Google think these keywords should be? That really helps you right out of the gate to say, all right, I'm on the right track, instead of fighting Google to say, no, 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 this is pets, 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 pets. And I know for a fact that Cameron and I could have really started feeding Google saying pets all over the place. He would have to put it all over the place, almost on every single page for Google to see that. But what was the solution you came up with, Cameron?
So basically we Google Keyword planned, I was just chucking in phrases. I was like, okay, essentially what am I and what's a phrase or a few keywords that is me? And I was just putting them in, seeing what results I got back. And then, well, first we looked at research and see if there was any competition, and there really wasn't, except for one site. And I actually searched hers and it came up poorly. So then I was messing with some keyword differences, and then I came up with rodent as pet. And rodent as pet came up with about 450 different keyword ideas, and 0 of them were extermination.
And so ultimately, Cameron is abandoning that domain and taking all of his content over to this new domain. Now, there is, and you guys will learn more about this later in this semester, what is called 301. It's an HTTPS status where it's what you feed to Google saying, hey, this is what this page is about. You guys are familiar with 404. When you get a 404 on a page, what does that mean to you?
Error.
Error, right?
Yep.
Error, content not here. That's a header status that is fed to Google. 301 is redirect. You guys never see a 301 because it's just for the search engines. We could have taken his domain and 301'd it to his new domain and tried to save, if he had any backlinks or anything like that, it would have just passed on. However, it also would have passed on the relevancy of raising rodents. And so we're like, it's probably best to just cut ties and move to a new website. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. It was something that I had never in all my time, and I've worked with Google's Keyword Planner, I've never used it to think, oh, is this a good name for my website? So keep that in mind. The next few weeks are going to be interesting as you guys really learn Google Keyword Planner. And I want to throw out to you an important note here. And this is really important. I hope everyone in the class watches this part of the video. If you talk to anyone worth their salt in SEO, and I'm pretty sure anyone, and they say, oh, what tools do you use for ranking your site? And you say Google Keyword Planner, they're going to think you're an idiot. And I'm not kidding. Like, we used to use Google Keyword Planner a lot back in the day when it gave us a lot of data. And now SEO just ignores it. And for me, when I was teaching this course at the beginning, I started teaching the students on paid tools, and it was just a problem. And so I was like, all right, I'll try Google Keyword Planner. It had been a decade. We had all abandoned it. And then I started finding all these little hacks. So this is just our dirty little secret. I do not suggest talking to anyone that does SEO saying, oh yeah, my number one go-to is Google Keyword Planner. You'll be laughed out. And I just want to prepare you that for if you go into an interview and you're like, you're going for the SEO position, you'll lose it if you say, yeah, Google Keyword Planner. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So starting off, this is critical. Even as you've reviewed all the other SEO content out there, you've probably stumbled across this graph in some form, okay? When looking at keywords, we have them broken up into different categories. So the first category is called the head keywords. And these are like single phrases. Normally you see Wikipedia, the major unicorn websites that are ranking on these because they're so very broad. So as this example here, t-shirts would be that single phrase keyword. And then you have the body keywords. And the body keywords are 2 to 3 word phrases. They're more specific, such as blue t-shirts. And then you have what is called the long tail. And the long tail is generally 4 to 8 terms that people are searching for. So looking at this, guys, you can see as it flat lines out. That's why they call it the long tail. There's a great book, forget who the author is, called The Long Tail, that really came up with this whole thing, not for SEO, just in life, saying, hey, you have some smaller amount at the top, and then you see it broaden out as you get more and more broad in the terms. Of these 3, which do you feel would be the most helpful to your site?
Long tail.
Why?
Because we're able to niche and actually be competitive. It would be like I was talking to Taffy, ranking for weight loss. Like that is like an impossible keyword to rank for. But if it was weight loss using the Shuba-Duba diet or whatever it is, that you can really niche down into that and be like, sweet, we're going to crush the competition in this specific tail.
If you rank number 1 on t-shirts, you would get millions of people coming to your site.
Yeah, but if you could do that, that's very difficult.
Okay, so competition is insane. You're going against Wikipedia. Absolutely insane. Why else would you not want to go after the head, Taffy?
I think just because if you have long tail, you got more specific. So which means you're able to attract the specific people looking for t-shirt that is like in blue. But I don't want a t-shirt in red, but I want to buy a blue one. So if I search it up and I find your site, I will buy your shirt, then just like a t-shirt site.
Good, you hit both of them. The competition is significantly lower, meaning you can now rank for hundreds of long tail keywords. As much time for you to rank for hundreds and thousands of long tail keywords, it would take you that much time for one. The second one is people that are doing the long tail searches are more specific and more ready to convert it, whether it's to buy or whatever your conversion is. So why not the body? The body seems like a good mixture between the two.
I guess maybe you're able to increase your exposure because you can hack on different things. Like you are focused on not only t-shirt, but blue, but American, but blue. I don't know, I just make it up.
Yeah, absolutely. The ease of long tail is really amazing. Now, I helped build my company off of a body keyword. I ranked number 1 for cheap auto insurance. And the traffic that it brought, my lead generation, we sold the leads to insurance companies, was insane, absolutely insane. But it took a lot of work. And I encourage you not to be afraid of the body keywords. Just realize it's a longer game. And so as you're doing your stuff, you want to insert your body keywords, but focus on the quick wins with the long tail. And what's fascinating here is here we're looking at what makes up the majority of the keywords. People only search the head 18.5%, the body's 11.5%, long tail is 70%. In fact, Ahrefs did a report that shows 90% of all keywords get 10 or fewer searches. So this is the other component that I want you to be aware of. There are some amazing SEO tools. We talked about them earlier in this lecture. They're great, but they're misleading too, because they don't have Google's data. And so they could say, oh, hey, this only gets, 5 searches. And so you're like, oh, I'm not going to go after that. And even with Google, that can be misleading. So if only 10 people are searching, you can bet your competitor's not looking at that keyword. But what Google and the other tools don't take into account is what is called LSI, latent semantic indexing. And you can look at a great site called lsigraph.com. But what it does is it takes a word and says, what are all the other words associated with this word? And so Google's doing the exact same thing. It's saying, okay, what is everything associated with it? This is why Cameron's site had difficulty, because it didn't have those cues of saying, no, it's not to exterminate rodents, but it's to have them as a pet. When you rank for a low, long tail keyword, it's very likely you're going to bring in a lot of other keywords, particularly when you rank well for that one, meaning your content has done very well on that keyword. Google's going to say, oh, hey, this graph up here of all these other keywords, I'm also going to put you there because you fit on all of these other keywords. So be wary of falling into the trap of saying, oh, it has low search volume, so I shouldn't do it. We're going to learn here shortly about clustering and the power of clustering and how you can rank on thousands of keywords doing clustering. And my approach with clustering is to take a body keyword and create some powerful content to it, and then creating supportive content that catches all the long tail. And Google, it's like crack for Google. It loves it. And I'm going to show you that. That's in a couple weeks. And you're going to see some what I call Karate Kid learning, wax on, wax off. If you've ever seen the movie, Mr. Miyagi has him wax the floor and he's like, how am I learning karate? And then he starts doing karate on him and he's doing it. And that's what's going to happen here. You're going to be like, what the heck? This is so tedious. And you probably have already felt a bit of that as you're going through all this data. I am like vomiting data on you. And you're going to see all that come together here in a few weeks. Okay? So as you are looking at the keywords, it's super important to not fall in a trap. And you guys have probably seen this next video, but it's so good in explaining what this trap is. So let me take us to that video. This is a very famous commercial that some of you may have seen.
Peter, come take a look at this. Look at this. What's this? The numbers, they keep getting bigger and bigger.
Clicks are off the charts.
Yeah.
Yoshi, it's Walter. We're back.
I need more trees. More trees? I'll get you more trees. Hey, take a look at Woodpole. Everything you got at Woodpole right now.
She really loves that thing.
Okay. How many of you have seen that before? No? Okay. With SEO, what does that commercial teach us? Besides the fact that encyclopedias are dead.
Take certain points of data with a grain of salt and make sure that you get multiple sources.
Okay, good. What other insights did you guys have?
Who do you target?
Okay, who you're targeting. One more.
Don't let the baby get to a laptop.
I would agree with you. Okay, so we're going to talk about search intent. You guys have heard me say this. I think I might have even had it on a quiz. What is search intent?
Isn't that what the person wants, what they're trying to find?
Tyler, yours would be the keyword. They're typing in the query of what they want. For Google, what do you think search intent is?
Do we answer that one?
Yes. Do the results answer the searcher's question? Okay. I can't stress this enough to you guys. And this is something that I feel is not really taught well in SEO. A lot of people actually confuse search intent with keyword intent, which you're going to see here shortly. Keyword intent is really broken up into several buckets of saying, okay, is this transactional? Is this, whatever. But really, it's like, I need to understand what Google thinks the question is that the searcher is looking at. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Why is search intent important?
Because if Google doesn't think that your content answers the question, then it's not going to rank you, right?
Yes, like spot on. That is exactly right. I'm going to show you a case study that really paints it well. Search intent is important because no matter how authoritative your site is, you can be the Wikipedia of the world, but if Google doesn't think you're answering the question, it's not going to put you there. So you've got to know the question. And this is going to be tedious, guys. I'm just upfront telling you this. In the next few weeks, go through all your keywords. I'm going to make you look at each keyword and say, what is the question being asked? And what is being answered? The question that is asked is the keyword. That's the search query. The question that is being answered are the results. The search intent are the results on the page, and you will look at the results, the SERPs, and say, okay, what question is Google thinking this is answering? And you're going to get mixed search intent often, where Google's like, oh yeah, I'm not quite sure. And I'll give you an example in a few weeks of a mixed search intent. This isn't just crazy old man Wilson's theory here. Google is obsessing over this. In their quality rater guidelines, which is actually really cool, they started releasing it because people were leaking these. So Google employs about 10,000 raters. These are people that manually look at websites to see if there's abuse. And you can see a whole section of what they call user intent. And user intent has a lot of meanings. So this is why the industry in SEO, we say search intent, but it's the same thing. This whole section is, okay, you need to understand what is the intent of the content that is being served and is it matching the query? So this is the case study that I alluded to beforehand, and I wish that Sarah was on the call. So Sarah was in the class last semester, and she was crazy enough to take it again. It's a good sign that someone that truly loves SEO. As I think I stated at the beginning of this class, you can retake this class over and over and over. And I was working with her on her keywords. And I said, what is the number one keyword that her client, the person she was working with, wants to rank on? And she's like, design a room. So let me ask you guys here, without looking, don't go to Google, don't ruin this. What sort of content does Google feel design a room should display?
How to design room, that kind of.
Yeah, that's what Sarah said. She's like, I think, actually Sarah said, I think how to have a consultant design a room, because that's exactly what her client was. They were high-end room designers. So yes, one, how to design a room. With Sarah's, how to have a consultant design a room. Any others?
I think would be image.
What do you mean?
I mean the image that show how to design a room. But I guess with that would be how can I design my room by myself, like DIY.
Okay, good. Taffy is getting closer to it. Let's pull up our good friend, the internet and Google, and see exactly what Google wants. And I honestly have not seen a better case study. All right, so we'll put in design a room. All right. Now you'll see with the ads, it's kind of a mixed bag. Design your room, get designs in 2 weeks or less. This is kind of what Sarah was doing. And that's how you're really going to get at the top with this sort of thing. But let's go to the number one, virtual room designer. Design your room in 3D. Online room planner, design your room. 3D room designer, plan a room online. Free online room design software applications, okay? I'm going to go through all 10. I want you to tell me what you think the question that Google is answering here. 12 best room design apps and home planner tools. 3D room planning tool. How to design a room like an interior designer. Room planner, room sketcher, so you know it's a software. Top 5 free online interior design room planner tools. And number 10, Room Planner, home design 3D on the App Store. So tell me what you think Google thinks that question is.
What tools help me design a room?
Design a room. Yeah, absolutely. Sarah and I didn't even look at this beforehand. Like, this wasn't planned. And I asked her, I said, you know, what do you think? She told me what she thought. I said, okay, let's take a look. 9 out of the 10. Number 7, how to design a room like an interior designer is the only one that would come close. So I'm telling you now, no matter how good your content is, the likelihood of you taking that one spot there in the organic is next to 0. And I bet you anything, let's click on this. This has software in it. So let's just do a quick software. Nope. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah, right there. Content that's talking about software. So really all 10. And so for her to even get in there, she better have a hefty piece of content about software. So I can't stress enough how you must look at search intent and how most SEOs don't. Don't get blinded by just keywords. The two are married. For too long, SEO has only looking at one of the spouses and wondering, why am I not making it there? Okay, so that is in a nutshell, keywords and search intent. Again, these two are at the very core of SEO. Content's in there, all of that's in there, but unless you know the keyword and you know the intent of that keyword, everything else doesn't matter. And so I'm going to beat you guys up pretty bad to be like, hey, does this meet the search intent? Great, I'm glad you have the first half of keyword research, but do you have the second half? Okay. All right, the last thing I want to focus on, and I really tried to make sure that we could keep this under an hour, is just a little bit of the homework. So you guys should have done the baseline here. Now, the next part of your homework of what you're going to be doing, it's kind of twofold here. This might seem a little tedious, guys, but it's very helpful for me. Find any areas that you might be struggling with. So you're going to do your seed keyword document here. Okay, and I've done this for Devin. And this is really the only homework you're going to be doing. However, it will take you some time. You have a worksheet, Paul Wilson famous Google Slides worksheet, where you're going to just take screenshots. It's just for me to see, okay, yeah, they get it. So I apologize. I know I have you guys do more than any other class I've ever taught. You guys do the most screenshots, but it's helped me troubleshoot with students and make sure you're on the right track. So starting out, you're going to look at the article that's in the instructor's lecture. And in there, it has an article that I wrote on, I think there's 8 different ways to do your seed keywords. And the seed keywords, and you're going to see this as a very common phrase in SEO, is your beginning keywords. These are just kind of the foundation of getting your mind around what sort of keywords you should go after. And so there's a lot of fun ways to do it. Very, very fun. I will tell you guys, you want to, on the, here, the seedkeywords.com, very cool tool, seedkeywords.com. This one right here, you should do today. And what you do is you create a scenario, just click on that. And it says, okay, this is, you know, what your scenario is. And the one that I did, where, let's see here, I'd have to pull up my Facebook because I threw it into a marketing group. But you create a scenario, and the one I did was for Devin of like, what sort of searches would you do when you want a marketing video? So let's do one of your guys's. Tyler, let's do yours.
What, like what?
Give me something that you want someone to search.
I don't know, like how to get my first credit card or something.
Okay, if you wanted to learn how to get your first credit card, what would you search? Okay, create my scenario. you're going to take this URL and you're going to give it to your social media network. Friends, family, okay? It's better if you're targeted, but it's okay if it's not, because they're helping you think of keywords. So when you click on this link right here, it says, if you wanted to learn how to get your first credit card, what would you search? Your search phrase right here, okay? You'll gather from your friends and family keywords that they would think about. So it's okay if they're not your target audience, because they might generate ideas you hadn't considered. And in fact, that's exactly what happened when I did it with Devin. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And I have it right here where I have, which one was it? It was, oh, content marketing video. I hadn't thought of that keyword, and that's a really good keyword. So you're going to come up with these keywords. The very first one, your seed ideas, is just your ideas. Throw out your ideas. So handmade silk ties, pet rodent, like these are everything you can think of, or I think I have it 6. You can do more, you can expand it out. I'm fine with that. Then you're going to say, how important is this to my business? Relevancy. So I put medium for video production because it's so broad. Now the next part that we're going to be looking at is, how is it trending? And so you're going to go to Google, or you're going to go to actually trends.google.com. So we have, let's do creative video agency. This was something of my own keywords that I put in, and it shows me, oh yeah, this is the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put 2004 to present. This is all the data Google has. Google Trends is basically saying, this is what people are searching. They're telling us the keyword side of things. Focusing on the United States, all categories, web search, that's fine. So we can see here, when we see these sort of things where you see flatline here, this is not a very common keyword that people search for. And so I put here, this is flat. This is not trending up. Let's see if I don't know if I had any high. This one, okay, I did a lot of 4K and 8K because Devin said that's a very lucrative keyword for him on YouTube. So I put in 4K video ultra HD for high definition, and we can see that's growing. Still, we see spikes where at the flat line. When you see that, that is not very good at all. This is not a highly searched term here. But for Devin, it's like, hey, I might want to look at this. The only concern, and I put this right next to it, might be from TVs. Is 4K HD might be the type of TV that someone's looking at. So yes, you're going to be going and doing Google Trends on each of these. Now I have here dead. Let me show you what dead looks like. Video production vendors. There is no data. What Google's saying is like, maybe someone once or twice a year is searching this, maybe. So that's really good to know. Again, don't be afraid of that, because the LSI might lead to other keywords, but I definitely wouldn't go put a high-powered, time-intensive content piece on video production vendors. Because you're going to see a pattern here. You're going to gather all these keywords together. I'm going to teach you clustering, and then you're going to change these keywords into articles, okay? This week, all you're focusing on are these areas here. You're going to come up with your own, and then you're going to do these different things here. And you will find, I think I have it behind here. This is the actual article that you're going to use as your guide. Instead of me taking you step by step through the video, you're going to look at this and you get a little bit of what I had shared here, but you guys got a much more in-depth one. And then brainstorming your own keywords, digging into your competition. You don't have to do this round. You're going to do it quite a bit coming up here. And then using Google for keywords. And you're going to start seeing all these different ways of doing it. So I have a couple here that you don't have to worry about. I think I have forums is one you don't have to worry about. But you can see keywords. You can see what I did here with Devin's. Okay, that's our class. What questions do you have?
With the seed keyword stuff, are we purely doing the keyword seeding, or are we doing the whole getting that link, sending it out to our family, friends, and all that for the assignment?
Yes, you're sending it out to your family and friends. That's why you should get on that
Do it
one.
a couple days, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
not do it on Saturday. You're not going to get a lot of data.
Is it how many people I should send it to? Like for the keyword seed?
I did it 2 ways. One, sending out to just my own network. And then I picked a marketing group that really is Devin's target group and asked them. You can do it any way you want. If you want to email it out, if you want to put it on your social network, I'm fine. You just want to capture some of the keywords.
I had a question about how we label the Google trend. We like see, so you have like dead, flat, minimal growth, growing. Are we supposed to only use like those, or can we kind of
No.
just use what we think?
Yep. The ones where I'm a stickler on what you use, I create a drop down in the spreadsheet and then you just put it in, but feel free to put whatever you want. This is for your own benefit. So doing this didn't take me long. It was probably 45 minutes to an hour to go and get it done. So it's not a hefty homework assignment. It's the reason why I'm doing the data lecture on Thursday, because you'll get this done and get it out of the way. And I know the quote retweet, that takes you a ton of time. So, and the networking one. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to throw out to you guys. We have an extra assignment that will take you 3 to 5 minutes. You should have seen that. And that is on dealing with your thoughts. So this is an entrepreneurship class, and I'm really looking at your entrepreneurial mindset and how to help you with that. But it'll only be for the next 4 weeks. But again, it's not a difficult assignment. You just have to do it every single day. So I have reminders for you for the entire week. They'll get a little annoying, but go ahead and do it and then fill out the questionnaire at really 5 minutes top. All right. Well, if that's everybody's questions, feel free to have a fantastic day. And as you guys have other questions on SEO, just let me know.